Hello friends and welcome to Friday. Today is the 31st of January. I don't know about you, but January has been incredibly long and I'm so glad to see the end of it. I'm so looking forward to the 1st of February tomorrow. I have such a busy weekend. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait, and I do hope that it is the same for you. So today on Friday, we always do a reading where we cover the energies of Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I'm using an incredibly special deck. This is not a deck I use very often on my channel, and it's certainly not a deck that I use for client readings. It's normally a deck that I keep for myself. And this is the Spirit Keepers Tarot by Benabel Wen. Really an incredibly deep and incredibly powerful deck. I cannot sing its praises enough. But like I said, it's typically not a deck that I use for collective readings, and it's certainly not a deck that I use for client readings. It's one that I typically use for myself when I'm doing anything for me. But I thought I would use it today because I have an idea, I have a concept, I have a thought in my head around doing a reading for you and for me, for everybody, that I really hope is going to help us to shift our reality. And I wanted something that was going to be powerful. I wanted something that was going to be beautiful to look at, but something that was going to be powerful as well. And I have added in some of my, just a few of my favorite crystals. And I have really amplified the energy and set the intentions that they aid and work and help us in this reading today. So this particular reading is around helping you and I and helping everybody how to thrive. Because, being the end of January, being early in 2025, we're all struggling. And again, I speak about myself. I speak about the clients that I have, connected with this week. Everybody is struggling in one way, shape, form, or another. We're all going through a lot. So what I've done is I've created us a tarot spread that with the theme of how to survive and thrive in any situation. So this is not going to be relative or specific to relationships or finances or health and well-being or whatever. I'm going to try as much as possible to keep it generic, but hopefully you can apply it to whatever situation you are navigating and dealing with in your life. So I am going to say, even though I'm recording this on the 31st of January, and even though I'm talking 31 January 2025, 1st of Feb and 2nd of Feb, actually, if you come across this video anytime, the spread, the reading will be relevant to you. So anytime that you are struggling, anytime that you are battling, you can come back to this video and it will help you to understand what is the best way for you to thrive in your current circumstances. So as I said, this is a collective reading. It is not specific to anyone. It is not specific to any situation or any circumstance. It is meant to be generic, but specific enough that you can apply it to your circumstance. All right. So I'm just going to pull out 5 cards. We're going to look at, whatever it is that you are experiencing right now. We're going to look at different aspects of your life, different aspects of yourself that you are dealing with or that you are experiencing or processing right now. And then we're going to look at how to put together an action plan. Okay. So I do think the cards are well shuffled. This deck is just absolutely phenomenal. I'm always a little bit intimidated using it, to be completely honest, because of the depth of its meanings and the depth of its artwork and all of the other kind of stuff. But let's see what we get. So I'm just going to lay out the 5 cards and then we will start talking. So the first card we have is the 6 of Scepters, 6 of Swords. We have the 9 of Cups. I don't know if I'm going to fit them in. Shift them over, got some space. We have the Winds of the Sylph, which is the Shining Gale. And we have the Lovers card. This card has been coming up so much this week. So much. And we have the Ivory Shield. Right, let me put those down somewhere and let's just rearrange on the screen. So let's just tidy them up and then we can get into it. There we go. I think that is as clear and as beautiful as I'm going to get there right now. All right, friends. So we're starting off with this one over here, who is the 6 of Swords in traditional tarot. Now, this is dealing with our emotional self. So how do we thrive? First of all, we have to acknowledge what it is we're going through emotionally. What is it that we are dealing with emotionally, and what is the best way to navigate that? Sorry, I just needed to put my phone off because I realized I hadn't done that yet. And Murphy's Law, it'll start ringing. So our emotional well-being, we need to recognize, where are we? What are we feeling? What are we going through? And with the Six of Swords is such a fast-moving energy, because Six of Swords is the card of like, I want to run away. I want to escape. I want to get out of this. I want. But we're not thinking, we're not strategizing, we're not really even, it's almost like we're operating out of panic and we're operating out of fear. So we need to understand, in order for us to thrive in whatever situation we're going through, we need to understand, we need to acknowledge, where are we emotionally? Are we in fight or flight mode? Because that's what this is. Are we in fight or flight mode? Because, friends, I can tell you, when you are needing and wanting to thrive in your life, fighting or flighting is not going to help you to thrive. Thriving is when you stand, you face, you deal, you acknowledge, you resolve. Okay, running away and escaping, or putting your defenses up and fighting, only aggravates the situation. So this is saying to us, in whatever you're dealing with, whatever your situation is, if you truly want to thrive in your life, you need to acknowledge, hold a second, where am I emotionally? What am I going through? What am I dealing with? How am I reacting? How am I responding? Because if I'm being too desperate and too quick to react and too quick to respond, I'm not solving the problem, I'm actually making it worse. Okay, so the first step in order to thrive in any situation is to acknowledge the emotion and to stop the fear and the panic and to stop the fight or flight response, which is difficult. I will admit that. It's human nature. I think it's our psychological makeup that we immediately, when we uncertain about anything, that we get into fight or flight, and especially when there's emotions involved and life involved. But we need to acknowledge that sometimes our reactions in those moments don't necessarily aid in solving the solution. Then we look at this one over here, and this is the Nine of Chalices. Chalices being the suit of cups, so it's the Nine of Cups. And this is our physical. This represents our physical state, okay? So how can we be healthier? How can we be stronger? How can we acknowledge our physical state in order to thrive? And what I love about the Nine of Cups is the card of showing off your accomplishments. It's the card of being proud of what you've achieved. It's the card of being proud of what you've succeeded at before. So to me, I like to see it as the card of acknowledging gratitude for your experiences, for where you've been. But considering this is now our physical, in order for us to thrive, we need to thrive on a physical level as well. Because if your physical is not well, you can't thrive. You can have the brightest mind and the clearest thinking, but if your physical is ailing you, the mind, doesn't really want to work as well. So in order to thrive, we need to be healthy on all levels. So this Nine of Chalices is saying to us on a physical level, again, let's acknowledge all the things that we have accomplished in the past. Now, you might not be a marathon runner. You might not be a huge, big athlete. Physically, you might not have accomplished a lot in your life. But you know what? You have accomplished a lot in your life. It's just about adjusting the perceptions and adjusting the expectations and looking at things in a different way. So what I mean by that is, if you are somebody who struggles with back pain, okay, and I'm using that as a really broad example, okay, if you are somebody who struggles with back pain, that means walking is a challenge, getting up from a chair is a challenge, sitting in a chair, lying down, little basic simple things in life become hugely challenging for you. And in order for you to thrive, even though you have back pain, this is telling you to celebrate and to acknowledge when you have managed to walk a little bit further than normal, when you have managed to go up and down the stairs without too much pain and discomfort. Acknowledge the small victories, acknowledge the small wins, because it's in doing that we thrive. It almost like thrive is shifting the mindset. But we need to understand that if you're somebody who suffers with terrible back pain, you're never going to be a marathon runner. And that's okay. Not everybody needs to run a marathon. Not everybody needs to be that type of athlete. So this is about you acknowledging within your realm of reality, when you do something that is better than normal, when you accomplish something, And it's about looking at your last day, your last week, your last month, your last year, and saying, but hold a second, look at what I have accomplished. And that, friends, if you can do that on a physical level, if you can acknowledge on a physical level where you have succeeded previously, it will give you the motivation, the enthusiasm, and the mindset shift that you need right now to thrive and to get through any situation. Because why do we struggle with challenges in life? Because we doubt ourselves. So what we're doing here so far is we're making sure that we put things into perspective and start focusing on the things that we can do, the things that we're good at doing, recognizing where we are and how we're wanting to respond, making necessary adjustments so that we can thrive in any situation. And then we go on to card number 3, and this is our mental health. This is our mind. This is the acknowledging what's happening in our head. Now, here we have the shining gale. So the shining gale that we have over here would be the Knight of Swords, okay? So the Knight of Swords, his mind is so super sharp, let me tell you. He thinks quicker than you and I can even say hello, right? His mind is super sharp. He's got clear thinking. He's very good at coming up with strategy. He's very good at coming up with solutions. And, you know, he's the master chess player. Think of him as the master chess player. He's always able to manipulate and to change and to shift and, you know, come up with new strategies on a dime, on a moment's notice. So again, in order for you and I to thrive in any situation, in anything that we're dealing with, it's important that we have a clear thinking mind. Now, what I love about this card coming through, well, first of all, it's mental health, well-being, and it is the Knight of Swords, who is all about clear thinking. So, I mean, I can't make this stuff up. You saw me shuffle and lay out the cards. But what he's saying to us is we need to eradicate any nonsense thoughts in our head, because we cannot thrive if there's all these little monsters in our mind. Okay, so it's telling us again, like, we need to acknowledge the way that we are emotionally reacting and responding to situations. Like, we need to acknowledge what we have succeeded at physically in the past. We now also need to acknowledge the monsters in our head. Okay, when I talk about the monsters in our head, I'm talking about those little thoughts of doubt, those little thoughts of insecurity, those little thoughts of, oh, I don't know if you can do that, or those little thoughts of, I don't know why you're trying, because you're going to fail. Those little insecurities and doubts that we all have in our mind, we need to become aware of them. We need to acknowledge them, because we cannot thrive in any situation if you have any doubt or insecurity in your mind. So your mental well-being is saying to you that if you want to thrive, if you want to succeed, if you want to accomplish at anything, you need to have your head straight. You need to have clear thinking, you need to have a clear mind, and we need to not have those moments of doubt and insecurity and weakness and challenge and any kind of negative in the mind. So in order for you to thrive in any situation, you need to eradicate the thoughts that pull you down, the thoughts that stop you from thriving. And then we go on to this beautiful card of the Lovers. And I'd said to you earlier on that I've seen this card a lot this week, okay? So I've done quite a few tarot readings, I've done quite a few dailies, I've done quite a few whatever, and I have to say that I've seen the Lovers a lot this week. And I think even in my own personal card of the days, I've had the Lovers this week as well. So the energy of the Lovers is strong. Now, what's interesting is this position, card number 4, is in the position of our spiritual. So we've looked at our emotional, we've looked at our physical, we've looked at our mental, and now we're looking at our spiritual side. Now, Lovers, let me explain the Lovers card to you. So the Lovers card, I mean, we all immediately jump to, you know, a couple coming together in beautiful lovemaking, romance kind of thing. And yes, it has that aspect to it, but that's just such a tiny little aspect of what the Lovers card is all about. The Lovers card is about consequence of choice, because you make a conscious decision who you want to make love with, to, for, I don't know. It's a conscious decision that you make. So whether you're married, you chose the person you are married to. If you're in a committed relationship, you chose to be in a committed relationship with that person. Even if you're in a relationship where you didn't choose, where it was a prearranged relationship of some kind, you chose to engage in that situation. Your soul chose to incarnate into this lifetime under those conditions. So there's always decision and choice that comes into it. If you are dating somebody, you have chosen to date that person. And whether that relationship is good or bad, well, that's based on your choice. So if your relationship is not fantastic, it's your choice to be there. You chose this person. You chose this interaction. Therefore, you've made your bed. Now you must lie in it. Okay? Like literally. So what does this mean when we talk about our spiritual well-being? And again, a lot of us were born into religion, were born into a spiritual way of life by our, it was chosen for us by our parents, by our ancestors, by our cultures. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but what I am saying is you must understand that a lot of us, like I'm going to talk about people who are born into a particular religion or culture who then choose not to be active in that. Notice I said who then choose not to be active in that. Because even though, like, a lot of people will go and ask you, what religion are you? And they'll go, just again, as an example, oh, I'm Christian. But they don't do anything that defines Christianity. So they don't necessarily live their lives according to the Christian way. They probably don't go to church. They probably don't pray. They probably don't do kindness to others, but they call themselves Christian because they were born to a Christian family. So I'm not picking on Christians. I'm just using that as an example. So what I'm saying to you around our spiritual well-being, we all need something. We all need some form of understanding, some form of belonging, some form of spiritual identity that we relate to. And we need to actively work on it, because I am here to tell you today that you cannot thrive in your reality, in your existence, in your life, if you don't choose some form of spirituality to connect with. And that's the reality. Now, I know a lot of you are shouting at me going, oh, but I don't believe in anything and I'm an atheist. That's fabulous. You choose that belief. And even if your belief is a non-belief, it's still a belief. And that is fantastic. As long as you actively choose and actively work towards developing yourself as a spiritual being, whether it be following a religion, whether it be standing in your own, whatever it is, be true to you. Be true to you and work on it actively, because, friends, if you ignore this aspect of your life, you cannot thrive. You cannot thrive in any situation if you don't bring your spirituality into it. And that is why we have the Lover's card, because it is your choice. It is your decision. But if you're wondering why your life is not thriving, if you're wondering why you are not thriving in a situation, in a circumstance, in a thing, it's a choice that you've made to not have morals, grounding, standing, because that's what your spirituality is. Your spirituality gives you your foundation, your grounding, your morals, your basic moral compass comes from your understanding of the bigger picture of life. And if you don't have that, well, you're not going to thrive. You are not going to thrive. Sure, that was big. And now we look at card number 5. So remembering this particular spread is timeless, and it's to help you, me, and everybody how to thrive in our lives under any condition, under any situation, under any circumstance. So we've looked at our emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of these things need to be in place. These things need to be okay in order for us to thrive. Once we've got those 4 taken care of, once we've figured all of this out, we then go on to card number 5, which is our action plan. How then, once we've established, spent time with, acknowledged, organized, solved, resolved, whatever it is, these 4 things, then what is the action plan? How do we move forward? And there we have the ivory shield. The ivory shield is the Queen of Cups in traditional tarot. She's beautiful. And let me tell you, she's gentle, she's nurturing, she's kind, she's subtle, but she's also strong. She takes care of everybody. She looks after everybody. She never complains. She never moans. She looks out for everybody's best interests. And that, friends, is exactly what you need to do. You need to be Queen of Cups in your own life. You need to nurture you first. Okay? You need to take care of you first. You need to make sure that your needs, wants, and desires are taken care of. Nurture yourself. Pay attention to yourself. Replenish yourself constantly. Your action is not to do, achieve, go, go, go. Your action needs to be self-care first. And that's why we've covered if emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual. Because if you are not okay, I do it so often. I will again give you the old adage of if you're on an aeroplane, safety check, oxygen mask, put yours on before you put somebody else's. Your action plan on how to thrive in any situation is by taking care of your own needs, wants, and desires first. Put you first. And that is what our Queen of Cups is saying. Put you first. Stop worrying about other people's needs, wants, and desires. And I know Queen of Cups is very much concerned about everybody. She nurtures and takes care of everybody. But I can assure you that before she starts looking at anybody else, the first thing she does is check in on herself. She does not put herself last because she knows that if she ignores her own self-care, if she ignores taking care of herself, she can't be there for anybody else. She can't support anybody else. And she wants to support others. She wants to be there for her family. She wants to be there for her community. But if she is not well in any of these ways, how can she be? So she knows to put her own oxygen mask on first. Do you? Do you? And I think the answer to that is probably no, because you're so focused on being supportive and kind and generous to everybody else that it's just easy to neglect the self. So, friends, how to thrive in any situation by taking care of your emotional, your physical, your mental, your spiritual self, and you as a whole. And if you do that, if you shift your focus to focusing on you, you will absolutely thrive no matter what the situation is. So friends, I do hope that you have found this reading helpful. I do hope that this reading has just helped you to shift the narrative of your life. And yeah, comment below and let me know what your thoughts are, what you were thinking, what was going on in your mind as you were listening to this recording. I do hope that you have an amazing day, whatever day it is that you watch this. I am sending you all so much love and so many blessings. And until we connect again soon, take care.